Mondays only mean one thing. Fabrizio Romano joins the show. You think because the transfer window is done and dusted, Fabrizio is done? No, he is here to discuss all the latest, including an MLS package as we discuss who's coming in, who's going out of Major League Soccer, and we answer your questions today. Q&A special. All you wanted to know from Fab, he has it for you, and so much more. Qué Golazo. Fabrizio Romano begins right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Qué Golazo. Happy beginning of the week. Happy Monday. Mondays only mean one thing. Fabrizio Romano. Fab, how are you, buddy?
Hey, my friend, all good. Thank you. All great. Really buzzing because we are entering into the final part of the season. And I love the atmosphere in the big leagues, in the Champions League that is coming back. So all good. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Always buzzing, even though the transfer window is done. Fabrizio is not done, of course, and he is here to discuss it all, Fabs. And you're eating, you're sleeping, you're taking care of yourself, right, buddy?
Yes,
I want to make sure.
I could say normal life. Let's say like this for a few weeks. Then in March, I will be back with my crazy life. Don't worry.
So take a little bit of a step back, but still here and always with us on Qué Golazo. Welcome, everybody, to the beginning of you. We thank you for being a fan and a listener and a viewer of the show, by the way, nearly to 10,000 subscribers. Let's get that before the Champions League returns. That would be amazing. And of course, we're all over wherever you listen to your pods. Before we get into Q&As, everybody, we do begin with some breaking news, some very serious news as of late from Ajax. Fabrizio, obviously, you tweeted about it as well, where Marc Overmars, obviously, you know, we all know his name as a former player, but the former player of Ajax, obviously the Netherlands, Arsenal, the sporting director of Ajax, nearly there for almost a decade there, has been relieved of his duties as a result of some very offensive and, inappropriate messages to female colleagues within the club. According to Ajax, who released a statement after realizing and finding out of the situation, they immediately acted and have parted ways. And Edwin van der Sar, the CEO, of course, and the executive board, decided this. They're obviously very upset about the situation on every kind of angle. But Fabrizio, what do you know? Talk to me about this. This is a big news, of course, as we begin the week for Ajax internally, and of course, the game in the Netherlands.
Let me say, it's a shocking news. It's a shocking news when we speak about Marc Overmars, because we're speaking about a legend. He's not a normal person in football. He was a fantastic player. He's a fantastic director of football because the work he did with Ajax was absolutely incredible, let me say. So he was a key person into the club. He was the man who built Ajax incredible era. They are doing great in Eredivisie. They are doing great in Champions League. The group they did was amazing. The group stages, they were perfect. I would say they won all the single games. Then the players he signed, the work he did behind the scenes to help also with Erik ten Hag. A lot of things were passing from Marc Overmars, and so it's really shocking to see this kind of news. It's important to say that, as also you mentioned, Marc Overmars apologized, so he immediately said that is absolutely everything true. So everything is absolutely confirmed. It's not something to be explained at the moment from Ajax side or from Overmars side. With this statement, they were really clear. They were really serious. I think, as he mentioned too, Overmars mentioned too, the only way was to leave the club immediately after this terrible story. So it's a matter of respect. I also like what Edwin van der Sar, the former great goalkeeper who spoke as CEO of Ajax, he said, we have to protect people into the club. We have to help the humans that are part of Ajax. So we are not going to continue with Marc Overmars because of this. On my personal feeling, is shocking because we're talking about a person like Marc Overmars who was doing an incredible job. So it was not a difficult moment of his life, He was doing a top job on professional side. We don't know about personal life, of course, but on professional side, on public side, Marc Overmars was contacted by Newcastle in September with an incredible proposal, an incredible contract, and he said no to continue with Ajax project. He was doing a top job also with new signings, with contracts, with many stages of the club, but on many stages of the club. So he was perfect as a sport director, but of course, this is a behavior that they can't accept. And so I think the only solution was to part ways immediately.
Yeah, Fabrizio, do we know, by the way, obviously per Ajax's statement, after finding out of the situation, that's when they acted. Does that mean that they found out pretty recently then, over the last few days, as opposed to, I hope not, that they've known for longer, and they've just decided to act now. But according to the statement, per Ajax, they found out and immediately they acted. If that's the case, well done to Ajax, especially to the points that you just made. This is not just anybody. This is somebody that has a massive relationship with the club.
Yes, this is the feeling we have from the statement. If you want me to be 100% honest, of course, we don't know about this story. So it's just a feeling. It's not a news and it's not a reality because we don't know and we are not into the story. But my feeling into the words of Marc Overmars, when he says, this time I was going over the line, I see something like saying, okay, something already happened. I don't know if in the last weeks or months or years. We can't know about details. But my feeling is something already happened. They were trying to keep the situation quiet. But then at the end, something was going to continue. And he said I was going over the line. So
this is what he said. Sorry to interrupt. Just to echo your point. He said, unfortunately, I didn't realize that I was crossing the line with this, but that was made clear to me in recent days. I suddenly felt enormous pressure. I apologize. Certainly for someone in my position, this behavior is unacceptable. I now see that too, but it is too late. I see no other option but to leave Ajax. This is also a major impact on my private situation.
When he says, I see that too. Yeah. Maybe it means they were telling me stop. And now I know that.
That's where I was getting at, Fabrizio. I'm wondering. And to your point, this is mere speculation right now. We don't have the facts. Of course. One thing is 100% sure. Marc Overmars is leaving the club. You mentioned how much he has done, not just as a sporting director, as a director of football, but obviously as a player as well. And now it's an interesting and tricky situation. And the bigger point that Edwin van der Sar said, we need to have a healthy, a safe environment for everybody. And he really felt ashamed there, Fabrizio.
Yes, also because Ajax are always a super serious club. It's part of the history. They are always this kind of club. It's not a confusing club. They are always with this kind of
fast forward thinking.
Exactly. So this is why they are really shocked. At the same point, let me say, to complete on this Overmars story and this Ajax future story, that I'm curious to see the impact that will have for Erik ten Hag future, because the relationship between Overmars and ten Hag has always been more than strong. They had a fantastic relationship. It was just like 10 days ago or 12 days ago, they did an interview with Telegraph speaking about their relationship, their work for Ajax in the future. So it was an interview they made together. And also last summer, when Tottenham approached Erik ten Hag, he decided to stay because of his relationship with Marc Overmars. So to respect the club, but also to respect the sport director who was trusting the project. They were approached by Newcastle and they decided to continue with Ajax because they wanted to continue together. Barcelona, you maybe remember, at the end of September, wanted to approach Erik ten Hag and he wanted to respect his contract with Ajax because of his relationship with Overmars. So they were working together. They were really close into the club. And so let's see if this crazy story could have an impact also on the future of Erik ten Hag as Ajax manager.
That's a very, very good point. A lot for Ajax to deal with. And to be honest with you, again, the most important thing that this club becomes a safe environment. No colleague, female, male, should ever have to deal with anything like this. But the story is not over. Of course, it just broke, and we will continue to cover it as well with not just Fabrizio, but everybody involved here, as of course the Champions League returns next week as well. All right, let's move on here today. As we mentioned, everybody, we have a few good little tidbits to give you. A Q&A. You wanted a few answers done by Fabrizio, and we have them for you. But before that, let's talk about MLS. Major League Soccer begins earlier than usual because of the World Cup. Fabrizio Romano, you've been breaking a few stories, but let's begin with one that was reported originally by our friend here, my good friend Felipe Cardenas from The Athletic, about Carlos Tevez to DC United. I don't know what to make of this, Fabrizio. Can you talk to me about this one?
I agree with you on personal opinion. I think we already saw what is Carlos Tevez, and so I'm not sure that it's the perfect move for DC United, but it's true there are contacts with his agent. I'm told that it's not done. As you mentioned, Felipe doing the top work reported about this story, and it's 100% confirmed that they had contacts with the agent of Carlos Tevez. But at the same point, it's not completed or signed yet. So let's see if they will decide to go through and to complete the agreement with Carlitos, or if other clubs from MLS or from other countries will jump into the negotiations because he wants to continue play football for the coming months. But sounds strange also to me because I had the feeling in his last chapter in Argentina that maybe we already saw the best of Carlitos Tevez. So maybe it's not the case to continue for him, because I loved him. In my opinion, he's been one of the best strikers we had in Europe for many years. Also with Juventus, he was incredible. So maybe one of the best strikers of Juventus history, let me say. But now it seems completely different. So let's see what DC United will decide to do.
Interesting indeed. I mean, he just turned 38 years old. I wonder what will happen there. But let's move on. One that is you reported on, of course. You tweeted it out. You broke it out. Douglas Costa to LA Galaxy. What's this one about? Where are we in this one?
Yes, it's a done deal. They have everything agreed. They're just waiting for the player to arrive in the coming hours. They're planning for his travel, but everything is good with Los Angeles Galaxy. It's going to be a 6-month loan because he's still under contract with Juventus, and they have some problem to terminate the contract. So they decided to do a loan deal till the end of the Italian season. And then Douglas Costa will sign till 2023 with Los Angeles Galaxy. So everything has been agreed. The player is more than happy. He knows that we'll have a beautiful chance in MLS to be back at his level. With Gremio was not so lucky. Flamengo approached him in the last few weeks to try with the same contract proposal that Los Angeles Galaxy had him. So it was a 2-year contract proposed to Douglas Costa, but the player wanted to try this MLS experience. And so it's just a matter of details. And then Douglas Costa will be in Los Angeles and will sign his contract.
Interesting indeed. Should be very intriguing for the Galaxy fans. All right, well, let's keep going here because another player, Xherdan Shaqiri, to Chicago Fire. Part of me is like, I'm excited to see Shaqiri in MLS, but the other part of me, but it's Chicago Fire, who have a lot to deal with. How's this one getting closer?
The most surprising one, I think, because let's remind that Lyon paid around 6 million euros in August to sign Xherdan Shaqiri from Liverpool. He was doing pretty good with Liverpool. Okay, maybe not a top star, but was doing a good job with Liverpool and with Jurgen Klopp. They decided to sign him. Then he wanted to try something new, and Lyon accepted also because his salary is a huge one. So they're trying to change their salary situation with Bruno Guimaraes, with Shaqiri. And so Shaqiri is going to join Chicago Fire. It's just a matter of time to complete the paperwork. It's not signed yet, but they have started the process to sign everything as soon as possible. The player has decided to accept. So it will be around 7 million euros paid to Lyon. So they are pretty happy with the proposal. And same for Chicago Fire, will have an important player joining MLS. And so we wait for a few days and then everything will be completed. So it's one step away from being new Chicago Fire player.
12th in the Eastern Conference last season, missed on playoffs yet again. So a lot for Chicago Fire to deal with, but Shaqiri, a welcome addition to MLS. All right, I had one more question about MLS here, Fabrizio, because I am surprised, happily, I guess, for NYCFC fans, but Tati Castellanos is still around. Nobody from the Premier League acquired him. There were rumors of West Ham, and now I'm reading, Brazilian, Argentinian interest, and those transfer windows end later. The Argentinian one ends in February. The Brazilian one ends in April. What's the latest on Tati Castellanos, MLS champ, the MVP, a very good player. So the Golden Boot winner, I'm sorry. What's the latest on him?
Yes, we had rumors about Internacional de Porto Alegre. As you mentioned, the market is still open, but also in particular about River Plate, because River Plate had direct contact before signing Barco, but they had direct contacts with the agents of Tati Castellanos. So let's see if they will decide to jump into it again or not, but at the moment it's still quiet. I can tell you that also Fiorentina were thinking of him as a possibility in the days when they had Dusan Vlahovic on the point to sign with Juventus. So they were thinking of Tati Castellanos as one of the options. They decided to save some money and to see in the summer how they want to spend part of the budget. So let's see. It's a really curious situation, as you mentioned, because we're talking about a really good player, very, very good player, but still in New York. So I hope for them that he will stay, but it's still open the market in many countries, as you mentioned, Brazil, Argentina. So we have to follow the situation in the coming days.
Well, so far, NYCFC player, of course. And to your point, good for MLS within that perspective. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, by the way, it's Q&A time. You asked, Fab has the answers. All right, Fabrizio Romano, Mondays. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Qué Golazo, Fabrizio Romano. Fab, bear with me here. I'm going to do a little plug here as part of another show, okay? The Early Edge, everybody, you got to get to it, is your go-to source for all things gambling ahead of Bengals, Rams. You going to watch the Super Bowl, Fabrizio?
I will watch, of course. How not? I live during the night in Italy, so it's my time.
Well, you better get ready, and you better get to the early edge, my friend, because it's Sportsline's top handicappers are going live every day to bring you information about the latest line movement and bring you their favorite picks and props. Jonathan Coachman and Larry Hartstein are live in LA Monday through Friday every morning on CBS Sports HQ and on YouTube at 11 a.m. Eastern. The crew will be going live 2 hours before kickoff to dish out and recap all their favorite bets given throughout the week. And finally, on Sunday, join the Early Edge watch party as our guys give live betting analysis and up-to-date in-game wagers. Who do you have in this game? The Rams are favorite. They're at home. They're Fabrizio Romano. But the Bengals, man, I don't know. I like them too. Do you have a specific pick, or are you waiting to see what happens?
No, I'm not so good with picks in this point. So I better with football. So I let you I let you go with your picks. I will be neutral in this case.
Hey, you know what's going to be really good? The halftime show, Fabrizio. Eminem, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige. That's a good one, huh?
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see a "Here we go" Super Bowl tweet from Fabrizio Romano.
Good point.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're back to our regular programming, everybody. As we mentioned, we asked you to send your questions regarding Fabrizio's show today, and you replied. Thank you so much for all of them. Now, remember, we can't answer all of them. We picked the best ones. And, I feel like we've done a good job, and you did a good job at figuring out which of those are. So let's begin in the league, very well, of course, Serie A. And this one's from Cliff. Cliff, thank you so much. Based on the Mercato and this weekend, as Juve, of course, win so well, both their new transfers scored, including Dusan Vlahovic. And this weekend, are Juve a lock for top 4, Fabrizio? And are they set for a late Scudetto run?
I think yes. I think the answer is yes. I see Juventus in top 4, maybe in top 3 also. Yesterday, the impact from the new signings, Dusan Vlahovic and Denis Zakaria, was incredible. They scored, but it's not just about scoring goals. It's about the impact they had on the team. It was a completely different kind of team, the atmosphere at the stadium, the reaction from the teammates. They were bringing what they exactly needed, Juventus, some fresh air. They needed new players, new top players in the right position. They were needing a number 9, like Dusan Vlahovic, and they were needing a midfielder ready to be aggressive and to fight for the team. So, top work from Juventus. Again, fantastic January window. Maybe the best club in the world, I would say, for the January window, together with Liverpool, in my personal opinion. And so my answer is yes. I see Juventus playing Champions League next season, 100%, and I see them very well for this second part of the season.
So let me ask you a quick question there. If you see them in the top 4, who is out of the top 4 then?
Good question. I think Atalanta yesterday with Cagliari, they were not so good. Maybe they're feeling a bit of pressure.
They're running out.
In the second part of the season, yes, in the second part of the season, they are always performing well. So I'm sure that they will be back fighting next weekend. Atalanta-Juventus. I think it's a key game. If Juventus will win in Bergamo with Atalanta, they have huge chances to pull Atalanta out of the Champions League race, and so to be Juventus, Napoli, Inter, and AC Milan in the 4th positions, in the top 4 positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good point. All right, let's move on here to the next question. Rodi Villacorta. Rodi, thank you so much for being part of the show and the family. What do you expect, Fabrizio, from Barcelona going into this summer? I'm assuming striker is a priority. Still really not at the back, Robbie, not at the back, you don't think? But he assumes striker is a priority, still even with Aubameyang in the squad now. What do we expect from Barcelona?
I expect many and many things to change for Barcelona, to be honest. It will depend, of course, if they will play Champions League. But I think, yes, winning with Atletico Madrid was a statement from Barca. I think was a very good game. So this is the process. And I expect Barcelona going on the market with very clear ideas on many positions. So striker, yes. I agree with Rodi. I see them signing a new striker. They will try for Erling Haaland. There's also Real Madrid and Manchester City. I'm not sure that will be easy for Barcelona, but I'm sure that they will try. They want to go for a top striker. So this is the mission for Barca. They will go for a centre-back. As you mentioned, Luis, I'm sure that they will go on the market for a centre-back because this is something they need. And so keep an eye on Christensen, because Bayern and Barcelona are 2 clubs interested in the Chelsea centre-back. And let's see also for midfielders what happens. So many things could happen at Barcelona in the summer, and I expect them to be really active on the market for this summer.
Well, there you have it. Barcelona, a lot of action. Good luck on getting Erling Haaland, Barcelona. If you do, I'm tipping my hat. I mean, no way, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, here's the next one from our friend, Jake Fenner. Jake, how are you, buddy? Will West Ham ever get a striker? West Ham, there was talk about, some players that they wanted. Tati Castellanos being one of them in January. That didn't happen. What about West Ham? Obviously nothing right now, but in the summer, do you expect a lot of movement, Fabrizio?
Yes, to be honest, yes. They wanted to spend big money in January, but they are always really clear with the strategy they have. We sign the players we want, or we prefer to save money and then spend in a following window. This is what they will do. They were proposing 50 million euros to Benfica on the deadline day for Darwin Núñez, and Benfica said no way to sell the player on deadline day, and they wanted way more than this. So this is why the deal collapsed after 5 minutes. But at the same point, it means that West Ham will 100% go for a striker. They were also interested in Gabigol at the beginning of the market, first week of January, but they wanted a loan deal and Flamengo were not accepting. So I'm sure that in the summer they will go for a striker. Yes, I don't know who will be the striker, because for Darwin Núñez there will be many clubs jumping into the race, so it's not going to be easy for West Ham. But striker will be a priority. Centre back will be another priority. They wanted Chaletakar from Marseille, but there was no agreement on the loan move, and so let's see what happens in the summer. But I'm sure that they will be busy. So David Moyes will have a lot of impact in the new signings, and they will go for 2 or 3 signings in the summer.
And it obviously depends on where they end up in the table if they do end up getting Champions League, which would be pretty amazing. All right, let's keep going here from one London team to another one. Mike, how are you, Mike? Can you see Renato Sanches? We're big fans over here, Fab. Renato Sanches, can you see? Yeah, can you see Renato Sanches to Arsenal happening?
Well, I can't say no at the moment because we are still in February. At the moment, Arsenal are not in negotiation with Renato, with his agent, or with Lille. So at the moment, the situation is still quiet. But last summer 2021, Arsenal, Barcelona, and Liverpool were 3 clubs seriously interested in Renato Sanches. So I would keep them in the list, because Renato Sanches is kind of players that you keep in your list for long term. He's not a player you have just for a panic buy. You know, he's a player that you have in your list as a key midfielder, as a player for present and future. So I'm sure that he's still in the list of the 3 clubs. And I want to add AC Milan, because AC Milan for Renato Sanches, they wanted to sign him in the last 48 hours of the market, but it was impossible because Lille, as they did for Sven Botman, they did the same for Renato Sanches, untouchable. So there was no way to sign him in January. But I'm sure that AC Milan will be in the race for summer move for Renato Sanches. Arsenal at the moment, interest, but still quiet on negotiation side. And let's see what Barcelona and Liverpool will decide to do for midfielders. So open race for Renato, but AC Milan will be into it.
He's definitely leaving, though. I feel it in the summer.
Yes, in the summer, yes.
Yeah, 100%. So there'll be competition for his acquisition. All right, let's move on. And let's talk about Aston Villa's former captain, Jack Grealish, the record transfer fee to Man City. Wonderful thing he did this weekend, stopping to hug a 14-year-old fan with cerebral palsy. You know, it just shows sometimes the great human side, and we often forget it in this busy world in the transfer window. But Man City, I'm wondering, you know, there's rumors. I don't know if it's noise, Fabrizio. So the question is, you know, what's happening with Jack Grealish at Man City? Are the rumors that the owners don't like him true?
No, I'm told no. They are still protecting him. They are still backing him. So I don't see anything happening with Jack Grealish on the market, to be honest, this year. Then, of course, they want him to perform at top level. They expect something different from Jack Grealish. We know that his potential is completely different from what we're seeing in his first 6-7 months as Man City player. But at the same point, they know with Pep Guardiola, the first season is never easy. You have to adapt to a new kind of football, to a new kind of mentality. So this is why it's taking time. Also, a lot of competition, and he was not used. He was used to be the star, as you know, better than anyone else at Aston Villa. And now with Man City, it's completely different. They have kind of rotation into the team. And then when you play for Man City, everything can change in 2 or 3 weeks. For example, you score an important Champions League goal and your season and the feeling around you is completely different. So this is why the situation is still under control. I was also speaking with people close to Jack Grealish a few days ago, and they were absolutely relaxed, not worried. So I don't see any problem as of now. Then let's see in the coming months. But as of now, everything is under control between Man City and Jack Grealish.
Yeah, and I remind a lot of people what happened with Riyad Mahrez. He was very quiet at the beginning of his time with Man City. And look, now a champion in more ways than one. So be patient, everybody, of course. All right. So obviously, you know, Fab, when I send this tweet out that we get a Q&A with Fabrizio Romano, the majority of my beautiful followers are obviously Aston Villa fans. So I'm just doing this for them, everybody. It's not for me. The final question is obviously a Villa question. You mentioned, of course, that Coutinho has never been happier, at least as of recent. Now that he's a Villa player, at least on loan, working with Steven Gerrard. This is from Ian. Ian, thank you so much. Will Aston Villa make the Coutinho deal permanent at the end of the season? Where do they go regarding, this is a bigger question for me, where do they go regarding a DM in the summer window?
Talking about Felipe Coutinho, it depends on him. So we will see how the performances will be. I feel that if the performances will continue like this, he has huge chances to join Aston Villa on a permanent move. Let's remind there is buy option around 40 million euros. So they will have a big opportunity to sign him on a permanent. But they are super happy with Coutinho and he's super happy with Villa. We are still in February, so we know that the season is still long and we have to wait a bit and see what happens. Also because signing Coutinho means, okay, a lot of money to give to Barcelona, but also it's about the salary. So they need to be 100% sure of what they will do. It will take some time to decide, but I see positive feelings around Coutinho. So let's see in the coming months what happens. And defensive midfielder, 100% yes. They wanted Bentancur, but then the proposal was not what Juventus were expecting. Also, they were thinking of Boubacar Kamara from Marseille that will be available as free agent. Let's see what he will decide to do. Many clubs are into the race, so it's not going to be easy. And I also have the feelings that I'm not 100% sure that Douglas Luiz will stay at the club in the summer. So this is why maybe they will need to sign 2 players in the midfield. But it depends on the proposals they will receive for Douglas Luiz. But I'm not 100% sure they will stay. So this is why it's going to be interesting for Aston Villa to see what they will decide to do in the midfield in particular.
Yeah, the Douglas Luiz thing will be interesting. I mean, there are reports, of course, that, Villa are very, big fans, Gerrard, big fans, and obviously proposal with a new contract, but the player himself, it also depends on him as well. So, that's a massive step. Having said that, full trust in Purslow and Langen. So we'll see what happens. Well, Matty Cash as well, obviously wanted by Atleti as well, Fabrizio, right? So
yes, they want him. Atleti want him. They wanted him during January window, but was almost impossible to sign him. So they decided to go for Daniel Vaz, but in the summer they will go for another right back, and Matty Cash is in the list 100%, and they will try again.
We bought him for 14 million going to 16 million. So if we get him for a profit, all right. Anyway, it's not the Villa pod. It's the Fabrizio Q&A pod. And there you have it. Thank you so much, Fabrizio Romano. What a great show once again. Before we say goodbye to you, anything that you're keeping your eyes on, my friend, this week?
Nicolas Sule, because his agent said in an interview during the weekend that they already have an agreement with the club. It's a verbal agreement. And I'm told that there are huge chances for Borussia Dortmund to sign him. He's not signed yet, but Borussia Dortmund are working to sign Nicolas Sule, also because they wanted Andreas Christensen, but it's almost impossible to give him what he wants. And Barcelona and Bayern, as we mentioned, they are in the race for Christensen. And so Borussia Dortmund have good chances for Sule. He's not signed. He's not done yet. Be careful with free agents, as we always say. But Borussia Dortmund are in the race for Nicolas Sule.
Interesting indeed. Fabrizio Romano, make sure that you follow his content on Twitter and Instagram. CBS Sports, of course, his weekly article regarding all the latest, all the information. Obviously, Serie A keeps going, all the leagues, and the Champions League returns as well. So Fabrizio, always part of the family on Qué Golazo. Fab, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, my friend, as always, and see you soon on Qué Golazo. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Have a great beginning to your week, and we will see you next time. Till then.